Welcome in Saturday Morning Coaches Show. I'm Rusty Nixon with you. I'm going to go around the county here in just a moment. Talk to all the area coaches about their games last night. We've got Todd Vanderweel, the head boys soccer coach from Argus, set to spend a little time with us this morning, and also Madison Mishler, our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week, will also be stepping in for a segment. First of all, let's run down the scores, football scores from last night. Mission walkover Plymouth. Game you heard right here, 28-0 the final there. Valley 42 and Glen 7. LaVille with a big win. Jimtown 28-27 the final there. North Miami defeated Culver 37-0. Pioneer over Triton 42-0. It was Knox 44, Bremen 15, and Jaron Catholic defeated CMA by a final 35-21. And we'll kick it off with CMA head football coach Andy Dorrell here in just a moment. You're listening to the Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3.
From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Bigby Coffee, have the best day ever. Located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana. Serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
And in our first segment, we talk with Andy Dorrell, the head football coach at Culver Academy. Long trip and a tough night last night again.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't win, but we played well. I mean, there's things that we do. Anytime you go to Indianapolis and play, it's going to be tough to get off the bus and play a good game. And we did some things well early. It was 14-7.5, and we gave up a touchdown with 4 seconds to go right before halftime. Then they came out in the third quarter and they scored. So those two possessions continue to be a challenge for us right before half and start in the second half. So we eliminate those two touchdowns right there, and we're right in the ball game.
And, we were watching the score, and, it's tied early. And it looks like you had a nice night with your offense as well. 21 points is you're able to rise to that.
Yeah, we missed two opportunities. We had the ball in their territory, probably at the 30, 35-yard line, 1st and 10, and we came away with no points on both those possessions. Again, you look at those two possessions, and you can finish those drives. That's 14 points. But, Owen Dorrell at quarterback played his best game of the year, threw for about 250, had 2 touchdowns, ran the ball well. So there's, considering how many starters we had out for that game, I really felt that the offense did some nice things.
I was just going to ask about that. Did you get your guys back in the backfield?
We did not.
Okay.
So we had Jalen Harris is a junior for us, ran the ball really hard. Owen ran the ball well at quarterback, and some design plays that we had for him to keep the ball. It wasn't as effective as we'd like, but considering the personnel we had in there, we felt that we were able to control the ball well enough. We just, again, needed to finish 2 drives and play a little bit better on defense to really have a chance to get out of there with a win. And we just weren't quite able to make those 5 or 6 plays that we needed to.
And you make a good point. I mean, how many times you see that first drive in the third quarter? And it was the same thing at Bremen. That first drive, that first possession,
Yep.
just it sets the tone for the game.
Four games this year, I go back to, I think we've lost the game because we did not start the second half well. It's not, we don't emphasize it. I mean, our kids know it. We got to come out of that locker room, whether we come out earlier, whether we come out later, whether we, I'm not sure. This has really been a plaguing us right now is how do we start that third quarter?
And the other part of it, I was just thinking about it last night when I was talking with Joe during our game. You got to remember there's another set of coaches over on the other side making adjustments too, and that becomes a chess match to start that second half.
Yeah, it really does, and I feel that we do a nice job at halftime making a few adjustments. And again, our defensive plan really was pretty solid, except for the three big plays that we gave up. And we had good coverage. They have a really talented quarterback down there, and they threw the ball about 40 times, and it really challenged our secondary. But we were in good position for all night, except for one score they had. We did have one busted coverage, but other than that, I felt like our defensive game plan was sound. We just, again, cannot give up late touchdowns and easy ones out of the gate.
It comes down to execution is what I'm hearing.
Yep, absolutely. And again, with young guys in there that are getting some of their first varsity experience, that's tough to do. But we're going to continue to get better. And we were really positive with the kids after the game, despite the scoreboard, because there were some moments where we did some really good things. And I'm excited about what we can do going into this week and continue to building momentum.
I was just going to ask you, do you feel like the arrow's pointing in the right direction at least? I mean, obviously you guys know what they need to do, and now it's just a matter of figuring out how to do that at game speed.
Yeah, I mean, we had Will Dupuis, the senior, had 2 long touchdown catches, and Owen connecting with him was a huge confidence builder. He's, he dropped a couple passes early in the year that really could have made a difference in the ball game. So for him to come out of that game feeling more confident, knowing he can make some plays, and Jack Chaney had some great catches for us. Michael Felker had some nice catches. So we're spreading the ball around. So we got more guys contributing on the offensive side, which was critical last night because our 2 top players were out on offense. We're not sure what their status is for this week yet, but we got building more experience with our younger kids.
Oh, and when I saw him play, he really is. He's that pass-first quarterback, and you can tell he can run, though. And I got to feel like his adding that aspect is going to help you too.
Yeah, I mean, again, continue to build his confidence, knowing that he can tuck the ball and run it and gain positive yards when the passing situation is not developing the way we like. And there's twice last night he picked up critical first downs for us, and I had a great run down to the 1-yard line, setting up our last score. So really feeling like him using his legs a little bit more will really open up some of the passing opportunity he has.
Go over I know the defensive line has been a thing with you being more physical. Is that still on the table? Is something you want to get better at this week?
Last week our nose guard Clark Pugh played his best game of the year, and I thought last night one of our DNs and Palmer Lupian played real solid. So we just got to get all those guys playing at a high level in the same night. But part of that is teams are going to double team your best player or run away from them, and as they continue to, again, it's the confidence thing, and that's what this group needs is. They've been kicked around a little bit this year, and the fact that they find some moments of success, and we can just build on that and start to layer and stack some of those good plays on top of each other, really something that we can build on. And part of it too is Logan Hinton's playing really well for us on defense, but he's also our starting center, and I think there's a credit to that too. We can't ignore the fact how many guys we have going both ways, and why it's hard for us to really finish games, and as we continue to understand and build a depth, get more guys in there to substitute and kind of keep our guys more fresh. I think that's going to build some opportunities for us as come playoff time.
That's one of the most frustrating things as a coach when you're looking at your guys and you see all they need is confidence and trying to convince them, guys, why can't you see what I see? You're capable of this, and it becomes a frustration for you and the fact that how do I get them to believe in themselves?
Yeah, no doubt, especially high school boys. When you play a game like football, it's so unnatural. I mean, we're asking you guys to be extremely physical and run into somebody and knock them down and do it again. And we had a sophomore last night step up in the secondary and did a nice job for us. And he's very timid at the beginning of the year. He came in last night and he had a couple tackles and walking away feeling pretty good about himself and how much fun this game can be. And that's really what we wanted our guys to walk away with. Again, we were real positive with them last night and just reminding them this is fun. This is what you do with your buddies in high school. And not everybody can do this. Not everybody wants to do it, but you choose to. And we're going to continue to coach you and continue to help you become a better team. And you guys are going to have a great experience and great memories that you're going to cherish because the way you battled the football field together on Friday nights.
Talk about next week a little bit. You got John Glenn. You get to come back home to end the season, which that's always good. But they're a team hungry for a win too, and they played extremely well. I'm sure you haven't looked at them in depth, but what do you see when you break Glenn down?
It's just one of those two situations where both teams are looking to find it a little bit more of an identity, and I know that I've looked at their scores and the games that are similar that we've played and they've played have been very close, and there's no doubt this is going to be a tough game, and we need to make sure that we just execute, and that's the bottom line. We do some good things, but we got to continue to stack those good plays on top of each other, and make good decisions with the football, force some turnovers. We only forced one turnover last night. And we cannot allow John Glenn just to sit back and kind of dictate the tempo of that game. We've got to make them uncomfortable and force some turnovers.
Well, man, thanks for spending the time. I appreciate it. And segue here, we have your game next week. That's our game of the week here on Max 98.3 is CMA and Glenn. So I'm sure I'll be bothering you at some point during the week here.
Great. Just make sure you bring that good Friday night weather to finish the season for us.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
All right.
Andy Dorrell, head coach at Culver Academy. So stay there. We'll be right back.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Austin Faust, head coach at Culver Academy, steps in with me here for this segment. And once again, I'm going to guess your offense is going to be what we talk about, as you didn't get any points on the board. But, I'm sure North Miami had a little something to do with that. They've got that tradition rebuilding, and, they have a really good ball club.
Yeah, they do. I thought we did some nice things offensively. I think we had the ball in the red zone twice, and then just outside the red zone a third time, then had a hold that kind of backed us up. We just that inconsistency part. You do some good things, and then you miss a block or don't trap the right guy. We have a miscommunication on a route, things like that. That just obviously kind of stalls out a drive and can kill you. And that was kind of just our problem last night. We did some nice things in the ground game. I thought John Carr again, I thought ran really hard, maybe his best game. for us, and you can just see the confidence growing with him. And then Jonas McEwen was kind of calling his own number, made some nice reads, and some passing plays, took off and used his feet and scrambled for first downs for us. We just some of that stuff where, when we need a play, we would end up kind of getting a negative play, and again, we're just not good enough yet to be able to kind of have self-inflicted wounds and still be able to put it in the end zone.
I was going to say, with a young team like yours and playing a lot of the teams that you play, and last night's another one, North Miami, your margin for error is very, very slim.
Yeah, it is. Defensively, for us, same thing. We did some nice things, and then, they get us, and it's they get a first down, and we made them earn it. We everything was for the most part, short runs that because we made them take drives. It's just like you said, the margin of error. North Miami, senior dominant. I think they start 10 seniors on both sides of the ball, and they have I said on their radio station that they have four kids that can run the ball, and I'm sure Coach Grant over there is fine with all four running. They got a quarterback, fullback, and two wings that just run the ball really hard and got some speed, and that just makes it tough, especially at the 1A level when you have going against things like that. And then on the other side of the ball, those guys are big and strong and physical. And I thought we matched the physicality for the most part of the night. It's just the consistency part.
I got a feeling a team, senior-dominated team like that's big and strong, as you mentioned, it just has a tendency to wear you down as the night goes on, too.
Yeah, it does. Especially, when they play a little bit more guys probably one way than what we do, and their offense being the option, they're fine with 3 or 4 yards because they trust that they can keep getting those 3 or 4 yards, or if you don't do something right, it's gonna pop for a big one. And yeah, it's kind of almost like a death of 1,000 cuts. They just keep getting you, and that they wear down on you, and they got a really good football team, and they got kids that, again, this is the same kids that won a sectional championship last year, so they got a lot of experience. It was their senior night, and I think we made them earn it and work for a lot of things, and there's a lot of positives that we can take from this, and like we told our guys, it's it's now on to week 9 in South Central and senior night, and getting some momentum to hopefully tomorrow get a good draw and kind of use that momentum to hopefully make a postseason run for us.
I was going to say too, the one thing that occurred to me finally after calling football for 20 years, actually 30 or 40 years, but the psychological effect of option. Because like you said, they'll have a play 2-3 yards. They're ecstatic with that, and you feel like you've accomplished something, not giving them a big play, but they just keep doing it over and over again all night long, and they're perfectly fine with the little victories, and that can wear on you upstairs too.
Yeah, no, it does. Especially. Like you said, if you keep getting those small chunks, they're good with it because now it's 4th and 1, and they're going for it.
Right.
So it makes it really tough to get off the field, and we were able to get off the field a couple times last night and force them to punt the ball. But again, when you're, option football and you're asking 14 to 18-year-old kids to do the same thing over and over again, you're going to see sometimes it doesn't happen that way. You can, this play, you have the kid do it perfectly and tackle the quarterback, and then they run the next play, same thing right at you, and now you don't tackle the quarterback. And he takes it for a first down. So just the things like that the option does, it's, it is definitely tough to stop.
And also, I think depending is totally counterintuitive because everybody, the natural inclination is to do what the idiot sportscaster does and just watch the football. If you do that defensively, you're going to get burned.
Yeah. Yep. If you were to look at our scouting report and then our bus report that we take on the school bus, and, I have in caps and bold and with exclamation marks, do not watch the football, because you're exactly right. If you're playing option football and you're trying to watch the football, then you're going to watch the football go by in the end zone because you have a guy, you have keys that you're supposed to have, and no matter what. And the hard thing too, for 14, 18-year-old kids is, first thing you got to do if you're the man line of scrimmage, you got to tackle the fullback. Even if you know the fullback doesn't have the ball, you tackle the fullback, because as soon as you don't tackle the fullback's going to have the ball. And it's one of the things you're telling kids, I don't care if you know it and you know the quarterback has the ball, tackle the fullback. If you're the outside backer, tackle the quarterback, even if you see him pitch, because, as soon as you don't, because, option football, they got guys in the booth, all they're looking at seeing is, okay, who made that tackle? And then is that the guy that's supposed to be on the fullback, quarterback, that kind of thing? And if they find out it's not, they're going to abuse it.
I'm fascinated with the things you teach these guys. I mean, I lived with a football coach for the first 30 years of my life or so, and that was his rule, man. If we're playing an option team, you better hit the quarterback. He would be livid if somebody, even if he doesn't have the ball, you hit him on every play. And, the idea of teaching a kid, well, you're playing a game where there's a ball that's going to be moving around that you got to tackle, but don't watch that. Watch this guy 10 yards away from it, and whenever he does something, you react to that. And that blows my mind that anybody can learn that.
Yeah. It's a tough thing because, again, just the consistency part to do it every single play. But like you said, and like your dad said, you want to hit the quarterback because you want the guy across the field to make a decision. Do I want to keep running my quarterback like this? Do I want to put my quarterback in this position where he can't, he is taking these hits and things, The good thing for North Miami is their quarterback's 6'1", 6'2", 220 pounds and plays defensive end. So,
I was just going to say, the other thing is you get in the quarterback's head eventually where he's wondering, do I really want to take this hit every time?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It was, and when it comes to option teams, I end up playing our scout team quarterback. So there was a drastic change in size. And as the week went on, like you said, I think I started pitching the ball a little bit earlier because I didn't want to take those hits anymore.
I was going to say, did you need an ice bath after practice this week?
Yeah, I keep telling the kids that, when I end up having surgery on my right shoulder, they're all going to think it's funny, but you can tell them what week we know it happened.
Let's take a look ahead for you a little bit, too. I mean, you got South Central. You're going to be back at home, which is probably, that's got to be big. It's got to be something that you're happy to get back home. And, another team that this year is having their struggles, but, how do you feel about them? I mean, they've become almost a rival over the years, haven't they?
Yeah. South Central, and their coach definitely looks at our Culver as a rivalry. We played them a lot. They were a non-conference game before they joined our conference. And this is going on my, fourth year here at Culver. 3 as a head coach, 1 as an assistant coach. And, the 3 years so far, we've either drew them in the sectional or played them week 2 of sectional. So it's a team we're real familiar with. I think they're, struggling a bit, just trying to, I think, still get adjusted to the conference and playing, a tough conference and playing the 7 conference games like we do. And they're a team that wants to spread the ball out. They like to throw the ball. They got a nice quarterback who had some experience last year playing and put up some big numbers in certain games. So he's a kid that can throw it. He's a kid that can run it too as well. So we have to obviously stop him first. They got a nice freshman skill kid. He was a running back in middle school, and then put him in the slot, but he's got speed, and he's kind of their go-to guy. So it's going to be different than what we faced the last, I don't know how many weeks, where teams want their run first kind of thing. South Central's a little bit different. I'd say they're a little more kind of pass first, spread you out. So it's going to be challenging just from the standpoint of now we got to tune our kids up the other way, and get ready for a lot of the passing game, the concepts that they do, and trying to keep the quarterback in, make sure we don't let them scramble around. And then, on the other side of the ball, offensively, we, teams have had success running the ball on them and had big plays. And, that's kind of what we've talked to our guys already about. We got to be able to do that. I think we took some positive steps against North Miami, against a physical football team and things. So now we have to, just put points on the board now. We got to finish. We got to execute, finish like we told our guys.
I think there's a lot of teams getting used to the HNAC. The level of football, that's maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen every conference in the state, but it's got to be right up there as one of the best small school football conferences in the state of Indiana. You have no room for error. There's never a night off.
No. At the beginning of the year, kind of beating that drum that, we got to be one of the best small school conferences. It's all 1A. So, we got to be the best 1A conference in the state, in my opinion. But, it is tough. We got a lot of good athletes. We got a lot of good coaches in this conference. And like you said, there is no night off because, teams are capable. They got athletes. They got linemen. I think one of the things too, as well, I think football in the HNAC is growing. There's a lot of schools that I feel had a JV season. They've had a JV season all year long. So, that's encouraging to see just from a health standpoint of the conference. So, it's in a really good place right now. And I think, again, the South Central kids, it was kind of similar when I was at John Glenn and we joined the NIC. It's just, it's different. It takes a little bit of time to kind of get your kids used to what you're seeing week in, week out, not this where you've maybe in the past had some weeks where you're like, okay, we can kind of breathe a little bit here. Or just even from the standpoint too of, I think a lot of people don't understand it. It's just when you don't have the best athletes on the field or you don't have the best linemen that can move people, okay, then now what do you do?
Yeah.
And then how do you scheme things up, or even too, then just how do you keep the morale of your kids positive and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it when you get a new conference, and it takes a little bit to feel out. And like I said, I think they're still kind of feeling it out. But last year, week 9, we went to their place on senior night and had a lead. We was playing well and coughed that lead up, and and they beat us. And fortunate enough, we had them week 10, so we were able to kind of return the favor. But we talked to our guys last night. Hopefully that sour taste in their mouth, and that we let that one get away last year. And it's been a little bit since the teams won at senior night in Culver, so that's the legacy. We want our seniors to leave so they can walk out of here, when the season's over, knowing that they got to win their last regular season game on Cavalier Field, and again use that momentum to hopefully get a good draw and have a nice playoff run.
Well, man, I want to thank you as always for taking the time. I appreciate it. And good luck to you on senior night next week, and we'll catch up next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Rusty. We appreciate it.
That is Austin Faust, the head football coach at Culver, and we'll be right back.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki jet skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
Adam Hanley joins me in this section of the Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. And, it seems to me like we're having the same discussion almost every week. One of the things you preach as a coach, every coach preaches, give us a chance to win in the fourth quarter. And once again, you're definitely in that ball game in the fourth quarter. And then the last, 6-7 minutes, it just gets away. It slips away.
Yeah, 7-0 at halftime. We were ecstatic here in the locker room, and just everybody was believing. And I told them before the game, like, you guys have no pressure, right? They're the first place team in the conference. They're the team that's ranked. Like, just go out and have fun. Go out and have fun, fly around and play football. You never know what's going to happen, right? Like, don't play all, uptight and all this pressure on you guys. Like, just go have fun. Like, the game of football is supposed to be a fun game, and you're out there with 10 of your other buddies. Just go have fun, And they did that in the first half. I think, obviously defensively played absolutely fantastic and, kept us in the game. And offensively, we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot and having mental mistakes. And obviously, you can't win any games if you don't score, right? So, defensively, I would say, at least 7 or if not 14 of those points was just based on offense not being able to score. And defensively, again, it's tough in the high school game of football without having, the success from the other side of the ball.
I feel like your defense, and you made some adjustments. Let's talk about those first. You brought a couple of your linebackers down on those ends, and I thought, Ethan was our player of the game. So, you had you got a lot from those guys.
Well, and we knew the last 2 weeks we weren't successful on defense. We gave up a ton of yards against Warsaw, and then didn't play great against Northwood either. And we just kind of went back to the drawing board and we're like, listen here, guys, like, we're not going to win too many games if we're giving up 40-plus points. So we got to figure this out, And we said, well, these are our, this is where we're hurting, right? So we said, unfortunately, our D linemen they weren't giving us what we had, what we needed at least. And we said, we got to try some new guys. And if you look at the defense we rolled out on the field, I think we had 9 linebackers on the field, essentially. At some point in time, 9 of those guys were at a linebacker position for our team. And that's just, it's where it is. It's where we're at. And, it's kind of the stuff that needs to happen. And they did. They played what we needed to play and had the success we needed to have. Oh, you're going to wear the Under Armour ones.
Oh, you still there?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. JV's getting ready to go, I take it.
Yeah, they're coming in to get their jerseys. It's all good. We're here. We're locked in.
we know you're wearing the Under Armours today, so there you go. You're all set. I just thought your defense played inspired. And Ethan's had a great year, whether he's a defensive end or a linebacker. And Coffin was another one last night. I thought had a great game.
Yeah, Ethan was down into that position last year, so he did it for us, 10 weeks last year, and we thought we had a replacement for him at the D line, so he could come back and play up, standing up for us, and he did all right in the beginning of the season, and just lately kind of lost some confidence in his reads and things like that, and he even was to the point where it was like, Coach, like, I'd love to, if you could put me back at D line, like, it would make me feel more comfortable. And as we already had kind of talked about that, is that where we need to put him? And so most of these guys were like Owen, for example. Owen was like, I'm ready to go play D-line. I'll do whatever you need to do, Coach. And that's the kind of kids that we love to have, in our program, obviously, that are never like, well, I don't want to play that position or I don't want to do this. And it's like, you don't ever want that. So we were really pleased with both of those guys saying, Coach, I'll do whatever it takes to help the team out. And, both of them were very, very pleased. We were very pleased in both of their abilities.
On the offensive side, I mean, you were without Finn last night because he's injured. I thought Gibbons really played well for stepping in. I mean, up till yesterday afternoon, Finn was still possible. He finds out, an hour before the game, hey, here's the ball, son, go.
Well, and that's high school football too. We tried him, get him all week. We knew he was kind of banged up, but we thought, all right, well, he'll give us a couple series or maybe a half or something like that, and we'll see how it goes. And Josh got reps all week. It's not like Josh didn't get reps in the week, and because we knew he was banged up a little bit. But high school football is tough. It's not like on a Friday at 4:00 when the trainer and Finn made a decision like, hey, I just can't give us what we need to get. That you go back to the drawing board and you re-put it together a plan, right? This is the plan. We had it all week, and this is what we're going to do. It's just the next man up, And Josh was ready to go, and obviously, we had to move some other pieces because Josh was at H, so we moved back to, move Christian into H and then move Josh to tailback. So it's not just one. It's kind of a little bit of a domino effect, obviously based on personnel and things like that.
And let's talk about their defense. I mean, everybody, it's the same thing at Warsaw. They all focus on that offense, how hard. But once again, it's Mishawaka's defense that, I guess I'm a Bear fan. I watch defense. And, with them, though, I don't know if a guy at the point of the attack it was always somebody pursuing from the backside that was making the play. And I haven't seen too many high school teams that have players that can do that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 28 points in their offense is the lowest they've scored all season, except for the game against Penn when they scored 22 in a loss. But defensively, I mean, 10, 20, 7, 7, 0, 0, 7. Like, their defense is fantastic, and we knew that. Like, it's not, again, no surprises. I mean, you get film. We exchange every week of film with these guys, right? So we've watched week 1 all the way down to week 7, and it's like every week you see the same kind of thing. They're going to be downhill guys, and they're to the point where they don't even care on tackles sometimes. They hit their own guys because they're come flying through, right? And like that's just the kind of mentality that they preach, and they believe in it.
I think at times that that was the interesting thing to me. You'd have a play that looked like it was wide open, and somebody'd make a play from behind. And the speed that it takes to do that is fascinating to me. They got guys that, once again, you're playing a team, guys that can run all over that defense.
Yeah, no, they're tremendously fast, and they're a really good track program too, right? If you go back and look at their track stats and how they compete in other sports, their track team is really good too. So I would assume a lot of those guys are track guys, and they enjoy running around and flying at a high rate of speed. Obviously with the anticipation to whoever they hit, even if it's their own guys, sometimes they know that they're gonna leave a mark, and they want them to know that this is they're here to play.
Now that makes a little more sense why the one guy that got hurt was walking off yelling at a couple of his guys.
Yeah, a couple of his guys. He got speared by one of his guys. It is what it is, right?
We surmised.
That's a defensive player for you.
Yeah, we surmised that, but he wasn't real happy with a couple of his teammates as he went off the field. But
no doubt.
Something like that, it plays havoc with your offense. But you guys had some success. I mean, it was the same old thing in offside penalties. I mean that was huge on 2 drives, just one offside penalty, a promising drive, and it's done.
Yeah, we don't have the full stats back yet. They're out in outer space somewhere still, but we just from watching the game again last night, we always try to watch it and just take a quick peek. I think every drive that we had that didn't didn't keep rolling. I mean, obviously we didn't score at all last night, so that you could chalk that up. But it was either a penalty or a turnover, right? I mean, pretty simple. We had 2 or 3 punts that all of those punts there was a penalty on that drive, and then we had 2 interceptions going into the end zone that we had that didn't end in points either. So just things like that. And I think, again, there's family life situations and sicknesses going around, and we had talked at the end of the game. We're like, I'm not sure if we had all 11 starters on the practice field from Monday to Thursday this week one time. One guy was out here, or one guy, he was back the next day, and one other guy was out. And like, again, we understand family situations happen, and you got to take off and do what you got to do, or whatever it is. But sometimes we got to get, to the point where we got to get all 11 guys there together, and that's how we got to make things work.
I can't imagine how hard that is. I mean, I hear basketball coaches complain about not being able to go 5-on-5, JV coaches mostly, because they don't have enough guys. But I can't imagine in a sport where it's absolutely essential that you have complete trust that the guy next to you is going to do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
If he's not there to prove to you in practice that he's going to do what he needs to do, how do you have that trust at game time?
Right, exactly. And it's tough. Like, it really is. I get it. Like I said, these kids are torn between a lot of things, and there's been a ton of sickness going around the program and the school and things like that. And we just keep stressing the guys, like, you got to continue to take care of your bodies, boys. Like, and at some point you're going to have to play with a little runny nose and a cough. Like, it's part of the nature of the beast. And at some point we got to power through some of these things and, make sure that we're there for our teammates. Because again, I think we had 3, like you said, 3 or 4 false starts. And they were actually, might have been 5 counting. We had 1. I think every single offensive lineman at one point last night had a false start. And I think we had 5 false starts. So it just shows right there that it wasn't just one guy mental lapse. It was all 5 of them.
I was just about to say that is a mental thing too, isn't it? Am I right in thinking that?
Oh, I mean, physically, you saw, we got the ball past midfield. I think 4 out of the 6, 7 drives we had, we were past midfield. And a couple of them were great because our defense got us a stop, or we got a punt return or kick return and got us in great field position. So like, it wasn't like we were backed up on our own 5-yard line, and I think the one drive we did start on the 8 is the drive that we threw the interception in the end zone. So that would have been a 92-yard drive that we stalled out at. So it's just frustrating as a coach to see the success that we're having offensively and defensively, but then the scoreboard not showing that, and that's where we have to sit down as coaches and kind of, digest what it is. And again, it's pretty obvious. It's some false starts and things like that. So we already talked last night, and this going into this week, we're gonna put some drives and stuff together, and then we're gonna tell the guys, nope, false start, back 5 yards, it's 1st and 15. Put ourselves in situations this week in practice to, mentally get over those humps, because if we want to make a sectional run and we want to be a sectional team, we're gonna have to do better in that situation.
I was just trying to think. I don't think you had a 3 and out all night either, did you? Maybe 1, 2.
I don't believe so. I think we had 1 or 2 drives that we got a first down early, and then the next, like it was 1 play first down or 2 plays first down, and the next drive the next possession was a 3 and out or something like that. Yeah, I don't know for sure. We haven't, like I said, I haven't digested the film totally yet.
That was something I think we noticed last night, was that, the number one, the good field position, usually, for the offense. And then the fact that the drive would start with a lot of promise, and then, boom, it's like the air went out for whatever bizarre reason. There was really no reason to see it.
Yeah, and again, I think the scheme we had going into the game, we knew what they were going to give us defensively. We knew they were going to be aggressive. We ran our counter game a little bit to try to get some cross reads and flows against their middle linebackers flow really hard. And they took themselves out of a couple plays because of just, they were going crazy. Right. So the game plan was there. I mean, we moved the ball, and we got ourselves in 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 8s. And it's tough to continue to run the ball. So we had to throw a couple times, and then eventually, obviously, you're down with 5 minutes left in the game. down 21-0, you got to go up tempo and you got to start trying to move the ball through the air. And like I said, that's not our strength right now, and I think that's at times Ben looks really good doing that on the move and on his feet. And then there's times where he's 1 second late, and that's who's making the interception.
This week you make a long trip. Are you going to go down the night before? I mean, I can't imagine taking a bus ride to Indianapolis on a Friday after school. That's going to be
well. I think Max 98 was talking about sponsoring some hotel rooms.
Oh,
so
were we?
I know yeah, that's what I had heard at least.
I think we ought to. I mean, we ought to do that.
No, we luckily it's fall break, so we don't have school or anything like that.
Good.
So we're gonna leave extra early in the morning, or not the morning, but early afternoon. Leave and head down and take a little, about a halfway break. Get out, stretch, do some walkthroughs, throw the ball around a little bit, grab some food, do that kind of stuff. And then head our rest of the way down to the stadium. The game doesn't start till 7:30, so we'll have the opportunity to kind of take our time getting down there. And then when we get there, we want the kids to be able to experience. We want to get in as soon as they'll let us get in, and let the kids walk around and take pictures and do all that kind of stuff, and get all the that stuff out of the way early. And then come 7:30, like it's still a football game against a really good opponent. It's a conference team, and that's just kind of the goal, regardless of where we're at. It's still a football game, and they have 11 guys, we have 11 guys, and we just happen to be playing in a really sweet facility.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. As always, good luck next week. And I don't know where we're going to be at CMA this weekend, and then everything depends on the draw. So I'll be watching it just like you guys.
All right, it sounds like a plan.
Adam Handley, head coach at Plymouth, and we'll be right back.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
Todd Vanderweel, the head coach at Argus for boys soccer, joins us in this segment. I want to thank you for stepping in, man. I thought it was about time we probably ought to catch up with you guys. A sectional final coming up, by the time we're playing this, it'll be later on today, tonight, or this afternoon, actually. And so how many is this for you? I mean, you guys seem like you're always in the sectional final.
I mean, not to sound crazy, but I mean, it seems like it has been ever since class soccer came into play. I don't know if we've missed a final. We missed in 21 when we were playing in 2A, but I don't think we've missed a final since it became class soccer other than that year.
I mean, but you had an incredible run there, too, for like a decade when class soccer came in. You guys were in a semi-state, 6 or 7 times in that 10-year span?
I believe so. I don't think we missed a semi-state until soccer went to the third class.
Wow.
And then we missed a couple.
I don't know if anybody understands that kind of a string, simply because, if you've been around any sport, there's so many things that have to work, and you have to get literally every break and not have any injuries. I mean, there's just so many elements you can't control, and once you're in tournament time, it's one and done.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of years, I remember the stress level, the farther we would get, not, it wasn't so much we've got to win, but it was like, I don't know if we'll get here again next year. I want to make sure we can, that this year that the boys are prepared. I wouldn't want to come down to a mistake that myself had made. So I was always very stressed about that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, with the normal way high school sports operates with, you're always cycling through a new senior class every year and new guys coming in to take those guys' spots, and to be able to do what we were able to do, or what we've been able to do, has been quite remarkable. And I think that once it starts, though, if you can stay on top of it, you can keep it going. The kids learn that that's something that's expected and it's fun. I think when you get to practice an extra week or two, those kids that may not be on the field that particular year, but are going to factor in the season the next year, I think that extra couple weeks of practice helps. Being around that success helps. And I think that's kind of how it can kind of perpetuate itself.
And, let's add the fact, a small school like Argus, you don't know what you're going to get in your freshman class coming. Well, I guess in your case, it's a little different because you guys have such a good feeder program. You kind of know your guys as they come in, don't you?
I would not be telling the truth if I said I don't watch what goes on during the spring rec season or the fall middle school season. I keep an eye on those kids. I mean, I don't want to be overbearing about it, but it's curious to see, are they being taught properly? Are they a good group of kids? How do they play together? Do they have fun, or does it look like a job to them? Things like that. Yeah. Are there things that we can do to help them further development when they get to us? So yeah, I am always taking stock of what's going on and trying to keep tabs on it, try to keep things going, and it's been fun so far.
You can tell a lot from watching a kid play, even when he's that young too. I mean, just his body language tells you, and maybe helps you as he comes through, know how to deal with him so he can have the best experience.
Oh, absolutely. Every kid is different, obviously, as we all are as adults too. Some kids you can throw challenges at and they'll eat that up, and they'll keep trying to prove to you that they can take any challenge you can throw at them. Other kids you got to be more careful with. Some kids you got to ride to get, so they get their work done. Other kids you never have to say a word to, and they're working hard, getting the work on those fundamentals done. So, the earlier you can figure it out, the easier it is to deal with when they get older, of course. And I'm also, I'll be honest, part of my coaching isn't just about the soccer. I'm a big personality guy. So, you manage those personalities, but I think that I wouldn't want any kid to change their personality. I mean, other than trying to conform to fit in with the boys themselves. I don't want a kid coming in thinking it's all about that personality. But I mean, we've got quiet kids, we've got loud kids, we've got kids that are passive, we've got kids that are super aggressive. And I think it makes for a better team, and it makes it more fun for all of us to try to let those kids be themselves and express themselves on the field in a team atmosphere.
I'm going to stick out and say it also is a little bit about what coaching is about anyway, is that life lesson of everybody's different. You can all work together and achieve a particular goal. And, bottom line, you don't even really have to like each other. You just have to learn how to work with other people.
Exactly. You're putting aside any possible differences you may have for the common good. And I think when kids get to do that, I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't had kids that haven't necessarily got along at all times, but sometimes those kids end up holding up that sectional trophy together at the end of the sectional final game.
Yeah.
And that counts for something. I think that's something that can help kids later in life.
I agree with you completely. Let's talk about your guys a little bit. I mean, it looks like once again, when I'm looking at your roster, and we talked about, who's coming in, who's going out, all that kind of stuff. You seem to be able to once again have a mix of some really solid older guys, and then mixing in some freshmen and sophomores to, be part of that and learn. That's kind of the way you build a program. Looks like you got that again.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had to change how I've looked at things the last 4 years. We made that. We lost to Canterbury in 2A in 2021, and since then we've dealt with numbers lower than I have ever dealt with in my time. And I'm not so sure that any Argus team, maybe back in the late 60s, early 70s, had maybe dealt with. So I've had to kind of reinvent how we do things. And it's kind of it's the same process. It just looks a little bit different. And you basically, I've always tried to put younger kids in positions with a little less responsibility. That way, if something would go sideways, we don't hurt the team, and we actually don't hurt their spirit and hurt their development. So if they can get a little success, say, at an outside back or an outside mid as a freshman and sophomore, maybe as a junior, they're playing in the center, or something like that. And it's always seemed to work for me. And like I said, I'm always careful. I try to, I never would get on a young kid for a mistake as I might a junior or senior who I've got high expectations for and has really delivered for us in the past. So I haven't changed that, but putting kids in at different spots has been a little more challenging the last few years because we don't have the number of kids right now.
Talk about your guys. I mean, who have you been really, really happy with the way they played for you this year?
Oh, I'll get to that. It's hard because this year, more than any in the past couple, it's really been a group effort. We lost a good group of seniors last year, and these guys, I'm not so sure at a soccer level with the ball, they're quite where we were last year. But some of these guys that, especially the seniors, there's a certain level of toughness. And if you haven't, we've got 10 shutouts, which is a lot for any team. The guys take pride in keeping people out. We kept the young man from Winnemac out the other day, and I think he finished this season with 38 goals. We kept him out both times we played him. Just as an example of what these guys can do. So Corbin Rex, of course, the second year of leading, anchoring that back line for us. Kyle Penn stepped in back there in the middle of the season, and those two have really formed a good partnership together. Kenyon Belden, of course, is kind of our engine in the middle of the field. He's probably our most technical player with all his travel experience as a youngster. He's played really well. Yolan Petz has really stepped up in the forward spot. He plays at 100% every time. He puts so much pressure on defenders that some of the opportunities that we create aren't from building up with the ball. It's from making defenders make mistakes and us, punishing them for that. So those are some guys. Sawyer Crace wasn't able to play last year. He's came back out and he's been outstanding for us between the pipes. So it's been a really good effort. Some of the younger guys, the Samuels brothers, have played well, considering they're sophomores and they hardly got any experience last year. So, they're basically brand new varsity players. And Carter Bauman, he's a freshman. I put him in a very difficult spot on the field, and he's performed really well considering I think center mid is probably the most difficult spot on the field to play. And we played some teams with some big, strong kids, Plymouth, the Academy, Bethany Christian, Northwestern, and he performed admirably there, honestly. So that not only helps us this year, but those younger guys, that's something to bode well for next year and on. So it's been a really fun year. We just wanted to keep going.
You're sectional too, if I remember right, over the years that I've covered it. Most of the time, you got a lot of very physical teams, and you just mentioned some teams that you play during the schedule in Plymouth and Bremen and Bethany Christian and those type of teams. There's a level of physicality they bring to the field every time. You're 11-4 on the year. I got to feel like you feel your schedule has prepared you for what you're going to face here in this week and even next week. Presumably so. Next week. I should say I'm not going to jump.
Yeah.
Still got to get tonight.
I appreciate that, but I agree. We've always looked at the schedule, and we've got local rivalries that we try to keep up. Of course, the conference games, but getting those the quote unquote regional games. The Northwestern's a little bit different part of the state, and of course, we're playing Plymouth and Bremen. Those two teams always play hard. And I love that. It makes my guys step up and realize this is how it's got to be. We used to play Warsaw, same kind of thing there, just a bigger school. And it always has prepared us. And I don't think that's something that I would ever change because it gets in the tournament and sometimes it doesn't come down to who's playing the best soccer. It's who's going to be the more aggressive player. And if you're able to play aggressive against the Plymouth, then you should be able to play aggressive against a team in our class and have a level of success.
And that's something else that over the years watching your teams play, they play with that kind of physicality as well. So it seems to me like that style really blends well, and you can play that with anybody.
Oh, absolutely. It's harder. It's harder when you're not when that's not your team's DNA to discover it. So if you have it, I think it's easier to maybe not be as physical for a game if you sense that the referee is calling a tight match, as opposed to the referees letting things go, turning from a more finesse team into a physical team. So, our guys have always adjusted that well. I'm not sure why, but it's always worked for us. And so one of those things I don't think I ever want to change.
Tonight, Caston, I believe, is who you're going to play. I mean, what are you guys going to have to do I guess it's this afternoon. I keep forgetting. 2:00 start, so we'll let people know so they can get out. But what do you expect from them? What are you going to have to do to get a win?
I mean, we played them early. They have their longtime coach stepped down before the season. He's got a couple of young children, so he's been trying to step back for a few years. He's done a fantastic job for them. Their new coach, Trey, we played him early. He hadn't had a lot of time with them. I watched them against North Miami the other day. They got a couple kids. They're young. These two particular players, very athletic. They're very good on the ball. The one kid in the midfield, Mac Mappin, he actually played with us last spring in the recreation league. So I know a lot about him. He's a good kid, doesn't give up. He's a hard-nosed player. The other kid they've got is their brother. So this is the McGrew kid that is not injured right now. He plays forward. He's really quick. We're just going to have to, do what we always do. Try to keep the ball in front of us. Try not to let him get the ball. Maybe try to be a little physical with them, especially since they're both younger. I think McGrew is a sophomore. So that's kind of when some of that upper class experience comes into play. He's got, Corbin Rex, Kyle Penn, Kenyon. They've been around these battles so much. They know how far they can go, usually be physical and not give up silly fouls in bad spots. So those are the kind of things we're going to have to do. We're going to have to move the ball fast, and we're just going to have to be ready to play. Winamac, we had 3 tough games in a row leading up to that game, and I'm not sure we had a little bit of a letdown, but they came out like really physical with us, and I'm not sure we reacted as well as we sometimes do. I think I had Winamac down for 25 fouls. None of them were malicious. They just played really hard, and we've got to be ready for something similar to that, or we'll be in the same position Wednesday night. And waiting until 3 or 4 minutes left in the match to try to get a winner is not something that is the way we really want to play the game.
Well, man, good luck to you this afternoon, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to get you on the phone next week. We'll have an update and keep it going for a little bit.
That would be nice. These guys have been thinking about this time of year all season long. Our season last year didn't end the way we wanted to, and so hopefully we can come out today and they can get something to be proud of for the rest of their lives.
Todd Vanderweel, the head boys soccer coach at Argus, and we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
And we're back. The Max 98.3 Coaches Show. And Jeff Kaiser joins us, the head coach at LaVille. You just had to have the overtime, huh? You couldn't just do it in regulation, just have that little thrill of coming away with that win. You got to be happy today.
Yeah. Not how we scripted it by no means, but we got the win, and that's what's important. And it definitely got us thinking a little bit, but the little things, and we work on our PAT and 2-point conversion packages a few times a week, and that's sometimes the guys think, oh, why are we doing this at the end, or why are we doing this, and last night it definitely was tail of the tape, because Jimtown got the ball first in overtime and scored first play. then they went for their extra point and fouled the snap a little bit. We got on, tackled the kid. So 6-point game. And then 3 plays later, I think 3 plays later, we scored. And, we kicked it and right down the middle. So that extra time you put in through the season definitely came through at a crucial time. And, you can never explain that enough as a coach to the kids and how important that 1 point is, or, if we have to go for 2 or whatever. And I'm not going to lie, if they make that extra point, Rusty, we were going to go for 2 for the win on the road. We were ready for anything, but definitely didn't plan for an overtime. But hey, the outcome was the way we wanted it.
I don't know. You football coaches plan for everything. I remember riding the bus with my dad at the state championship game. I'm sitting next to him, and he turns and looks at me. He's already scripted it out. He says, "We get to overtime, we're winning this." That's exactly what happened, and he already had the plays he was going to run. I mean, you knew what you were going to do. Come on, don't try to jibe me.
Well, what's disappointing about that, Rusty, is we were up 21-7 in the third quarter. So they fought and clawed back, and Jimtown's a good team, and they proved that. So as far as scripting it, no, not when we're up that. If we're playing from behind, yeah, okay, we'll take overtime at this moment. But midway through the third, and you're up 14, you shouldn't get yourself a situation where you lose the lead. And, we just got to get to the point to where we put the hammer down and finish the team off.
Talk about that for a little bit, too, because we were following the scores at our game as it was going on. It looked like a dogfight in that first half.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, we come out and, we shut them down on defense, made a punt, took the ball down, scored. Rather quickly. I mean, we put a drive together and was consistent with it, and then they get the ball and they convert on 3 4th downs. They like 9 minutes off the clock, 8 minutes off the clock. So basically, we couldn't get defense off the field and get the ball back, try scoring. So that was concerning, but that led to a 7-7 halftime score, and we knew then it's going to be a battle to the end.
Talk about your offense, though. I mean, you were able to come back, you got the lead, then you win it in overtime. What was the key for that last night?
Well, I think that the offense is playing. They're getting more and more confident. We can spread the ball around, we get multiple guys touching the ball, and we were able to do that last night. Schwitz. Probably his completion percentage is the best it's been. I mean, he was 16 of 18 last night, which is really, really good. Yeah. He threaded some in there, really nice balls. And you talked about that earlier in the year. The way he throws the ball is pretty good for a high school quarterback, and I'll agree. So he 16 of 18. I mean, we're moving the ball. I mean, we're doing what we want, and I think he ended up with 168, right around 170 yards passing and a touchdown. But then, Cole Stafford was running the ball well again. So, it's been a couple weeks now where we've been able to move the ball running and passing, and I'm going to credit the O-line. They're getting better. They're gelling more and more. So, Cole ran for, he had 18 carries and around 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, the ground game was working, the air game was working, and when you get both going, you're going to have that success. And of course, especially when you get down in the crunch time, like both options have worked tonight. So you make that other team think about, what are we going to defend here? What are they going to do? Instead of just relying on that pass like we had, mid-season, or, they haven't been able to complete a pass tonight, so let's pack the box and defend that run. So we were able to keep them, the defense extended, and definitely helped us down the stretch.
Talk about how that makes you feel, the running game in particular, because I know we've talked about that all year long, is that's something you really felt you needed to establish. It's 2 weeks in a row now. Do you feel like you're getting there where you want to be with that?
Well, of course, yeah. We're getting there. We're not quite where we want to be, but, Cole was a little under the weather last night, and, he was getting drained rather quick, but he was consistent. Anytime you get a running back, he runs over 100 yards. something's working up front. So, being a senior and being there, in big games before, we felt Cole stepped up rather well on the offensive side last night. And again, like I said, when things are clicking, it definitely helps keep the momentum going. And when you get where you are winded or you're sucking air a little bit and can't breathe very well because sinuses are completely plugged, when you're finding that success, a lot of times you can overcome that feeling.
Yeah, I was going to say, winning a game probably makes everything better anyway.
Yeah, it never hurts. I mean, it never hurts. That was a big one on the road. I mean, like I said, they're a good team, and I was informed last night after the game. The Ville program hasn't beat Jimtown since '85, and then the program hasn't beat Jimtown since '90. So now there was a lapse there with the conference, change and all that. Right. But I challenged the seniors before the game, leave your mark. I mean, it was the last conference game. We were battling for fourth. Let's finish the best we can at this point. And seniors, you can do something special tonight. Now, I didn't know the dates. I just knew beating the Jimtown program would be big. And we're carrying some momentum here a little bit. A couple big wins on the road, and just proves we can win on the road and proves we can win a game when our backs are against the wall. And that's just confidence in the players and staff together. That's really what that was, Rusty. We kept our composure, and we had no doubt that we could score on them in overtime. Just I didn't expect them to score on the very first play.
Well, and Jimtown is a I don't want to say horrible, but it's a really there's a lot of programs that haven't won at Jimtown since 1985. I mean, that's been one of the storied programs over the years. I mean, that's got to be a huge confidence builder and a feather in your cap.
Yeah, and I shared that with the guys because I didn't know that, honestly. I'm not going to lie. The reporters told me that. And so, I shared that with the guys. I told the seniors, the game's over. I said, we talked about doing something special and leaving a mark, and they're the team that broke that streak. So, that's something that they can, like you said, they can put the feather in the hat on that. But, the biggest thing is it's Saturday morning. Let's watch film. Let's stretch. Let's work out some kinks. Let's study the film. And let's get ready for next week. I mean, it's over, right? That's over. No different than 3 weeks ago. I was telling you, the best thing is it's Saturday morning, Friday is over. And it's the same thing here. Like even the win or lose, that's the motto you got to have. That's what we have as our program, and we'll get back to work and critique what we did right, what we did wrong, and continue to grow.
How do you feel about the way your defense played? Because they've been kind of that backbone of what you're doing. How do you feel about their job last night?
Yeah, I mean, we changed things up a little bit. We moved some personnel around. I was pleased with that, how the kids responded to some of that. And as we're getting later in the season, we're trying some things. Not really experimenting, just some things we kind of had in our back pocket that we're going to do. And when we started breaking it out a little bit last night, and they played well. I mean, they really did. That was a very physical game. Very, very physical. Yeah. So, if I had to say there's something we didn't do well, and the boys know it, is we didn't tackle well. We didn't get into legs like we should consistently. We're in position, and there's times we have 2, 3, 4 guys there, because they played assignment football, but they just didn't quite finish it. And then you see the pile move an extra 2 yards, right? Or you see, kid almost carrying our guy for 3 yards, and there's no doubt you look at that and you're like, well, they hit the squat rack. There is no doubt about that, but it's and you do, and that's credit to those kids over there, and then those backs run hard, but we got to get back to getting into legs. And if you don't tackle legs, you're not going to bring down good running backs. And if you plan on playing in November, you're going to face good running backs. So, it's a blessing that that happened to us because we have practices to prepare and get better at that. But, we're on the eve, of if you don't do that in 2 weeks, you're hanging equipment, and it's that simple. It's if you don't do that little thing, you can bust your butt and get all over the field, right? Play assignment football, make your reads, get there and be physical. But if you're not physical in the right ways to get the guy down, good ones will plant you. And those extra 2 yards, extra 3 yards, heck, even extra yard when you've stymied them at the line, that backfires on you late in the game because that's the 3 first downs that they got on fourth down was some of that, not all of it, but there was two of those where we were there, and then the kid falls forward, and so I like how physical we are. I like how we're rallying to the ball. It's just we got to finish that play when we should, not let them extend an extra yard or two.
Let's talk about this week a little bit. I mean, I think every coach at this point in the year has gotten to the it's about us time of the year. You got Whiting. You're going to be back home, I believe. Yeah, you're at home again, and that's got to feel good, number one. But number two, it's a game that you might look at on paper and say, well, maybe we should win this. But sometimes those are the toughest ones, especially when the next week is when everything starts again. You're trying to get to the point you need to be to keep building through that. I mean, this is a tough week.
Yeah, it's our senior night, so it's going to be a special night for those guys, and you want to make a special for them as a program,
sure.
Right? They've sacrificed the 4 years, and sometimes it's a little distraction to start the game, because those kids are emotional with their parents, and they have every right to be, and I support that. So we got to get our young kids to rise up for first few plays, to let them realize that hey, we got a ball game to play. But this is a tricky week in many ways, and I think probably other coaches say the same thing. This is, I look at this as okay, our conference is done. We battled through the grind of that. This is a region team coming in. Don't know a whole lot about them. They haven't even exchanged film with me yet. They've not sent me roster yet. Not pleased about that, but that's sometimes what region teams will do to you. Enough said on that. I can tell I'm not very happy. But anyways, on Sunday's the draw. And so, you start looking at that, right? Like this weekend, coaches are going to put the package together and everything, but you got kids looking ahead. And that's what the talk starts going to because you're not playing a big conference game, right?
Yeah.
And is this game important? And it's a double-edged sword because, it's no lie. As coaches are going to look at the draw. We're going to see kind of what the path could be and this and that. So, as coaches, we got to manage and make sure that we don't concentrate just on what's ahead of us because of the draw, take care of this and continue building, what we've established in these last 2 weeks and take that with us to the playoffs. Right. So, I call this trap week just because, kids start peaking a little bit. But the nice thing about this is you're playing a team that you really don't know a whole lot about. Kids don't know each other. Everybody, every game you play in your conference, and you know all those kids, right? And you know those coaches. So it's kind of fun to play somebody you don't know because that's what you start running to in the tournament.
Yeah.
And so it kind of plants that seed a little bit of, like you said earlier, and like I've said all year, it's about us. And what are we going to do? What are we going to take away from them, and what are we going to establish that they're giving us? So it's a fun week, but like I said, it's definitely it worries me as a trap week.
You just said something that made me think about something. I mean, just the way you went. As a coach, you're almost have to be schizophrenic. I mean, you're going to see the draw. And any coach worth his salt in any sport is planning ahead. He's looking 2 or 3 games ahead. He's making a plan for each one of those, and then has to go to practice and tell his kids, "Hey, nothing beyond this week. Nothing beyond this week." That's got to be. I just thought about the weirdness of that, but that's the way you got to do it.
Yeah, and and I. 25 years of coaching. I've coached with some really, really great coaches and played for, a great coach. And we'll address it on Monday in our scouting report, what the draw was. We're not going to hide from it. We're going to talk about it. But then you put that in the closet and let's get to work for this week.
Yeah.
Right. If you, as a coach, if you don't talk about it, right, your kids are going to even more.
Right.
And they're waiting to hear coaches say something about it. So we'll address that right away in our scouting report. This week that, hey, here's what our path is, but we have a team this week we need to take care of to continue the wave and momentum to put us in a situation, right, to play in November. I mean, that's where we're at. And so, you know, we're not going to shy away from it. We're going to discuss it real quick, and that's it. And then we're going to get back to work.
Man, as always, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. And we'll catch up this week.
Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate you.
To head coach at LaVille, Jeff Kaiser. Stay there. We'll be right back.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
And joining us in this segment is Justin Gagonia, the head coach at Bremen. And, man, that's a tough one last night. But, you know, we were following the score at our game, and it seemed like you were hanging in there and trying to give them a little bit of trouble. But, you know, assess it for us. What did you see? You were there.
Yeah. We had a couple drive stoppers that definitely would have made it better. Not saying that we would have won the game at all. They're a very good team, and you know, I don't right. I thought we did once we got settled in. I thought we did a lot better job getting some stops on their offense. We had, I believe, we had a chance early in the first quarter to tie the game, and then we fumbled inside the 10-yard line, and then that was his big run. Then he took, I mean, very next play he takes it all the way for a touchdown. So then you know, so then you're down 14, and then somewhere also in that first half, we had a nice drive going, and we had 4th and inches, and we had a false start, and so then we got back behind the sticks and didn't convert then either. So those were two opportunities that either like maybe kept us within a touchdown or you know, kept it definitely tighter. Whether we eat the clock with that first down on the 4th down and also score on the inside the red zone, you know, it's more of a game at halftime. Then we came out the second half and settled in. I mean, I don't know how many times we made him punt, more than I've seen on film. I know that.
Yeah.
And then and we got a fumble, which is something that he doesn't do. So we got a turnover, and we got multiple punts, which you know, are small victories in that game. But you know, he definitely deserves the accolades that he gets. He's hard to bring down. He's got great balance, and you know, we saw that, right? Something that, you know, we haven't seen all year.
And I got to believe in a situation like that, you take away the positives because, you know, that's a team that, you know, really has a clear shot of playing on Thanksgiving weekend, and you know, you stayed with them, I guess. I know that most coaches aren't much for moral victories, but yeah. You know, you got to take that away.
Yeah, and then you know, you know, at some point in time, right? Like also that our guys came away healthy.
Yeah.
We don't, you know, the hard thing about them, like you don't see it, you can't replicate it. It's just something that once you get into the game on Friday night, you really get a feel for, right? Like It is so hard to prepare for. And when he gets a good running back there like him, I mean, a possible D1 kid, it definitely makes it that much harder. I mean, when you get to him, right, and then he bounces off or somehow keeps his balance. That's what I said. It's incredible how many times he does some kind of spin where he's got one leg on the ground or, you know, or puts his hand down and pops back up. It's he's definitely got, like I said, great balance and vision. He's tough to bring in. And that's demoralizing, right, for your defense when, you know, when you're getting contact on him, you know, with a 1 or 2 yard gain, and then he busts it out for 12 or 15 and it's another first down, and, you know, and then you're back at the sticks again. Right. So it's definitely right. Like you said, there's lessons to be learned. You know, there's a lot of, I think, lessons for our team, especially maybe defensively and how to attack something like that. And, you know, obviously you hope that you take something positive away from every game. And so there's some things that, we'll look at there in the game. And then kids still made plays, right? Jack still made some great plays in the game. Jake had some plays in the game as well that you like to see. Again, positives that you want to point to going into this week.
And you bring up a good point, too. I mean, everybody talks about Miles, and they should. I mean, he's a great football. One of the better ones I've ever seen play, to say the least.
Yeah.
But the thing that goes unnoticed in all of that is that offensive line. They're like, I don't know.
Yes.
They're like one huge, massive unit. They all work together, and they are incredibly physical.
Yeah, and I think the most impressive thing is kind of going off of what you said is it's one unit, right? It's like one heartbeat.
Yeah.
And when you see them, everybody does their job, and it's just a machine. Boom, 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 boom. And it's not like maybe the smaller schools, we got half a line, we're going to run behind Freddie, right? Or we're going to do this or that. It's one big unit, and he's got 9 guys. And, when he puts them all down on the line, there's another thing that you don't see, right? Even I run, a heavy set or unbalanced, but he's got it on both sides, right? He's got 4 down linemen. He's got 9 linemen down there. And, that's hard to adjust to as a defense as well. And so definitely presents a lot of problems for teams. And then they're balanced, right? Like they do a good job of not giving away tendencies like, in this set, they're running left, right? They can go either way out of any of their sets, which makes them very hard to defend. Their balance is great. It's very impressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. Hey, I'm a history major from college, and I always call that offense the Greek phalanx, or basically he's running behind a tank is what it boils down to, and that's got to help any running back.
Right, that and then you have the perfect complement, right? Having a great running back there like that that helps the line. When I said right, like you've got to be excited to block for a guy like that, where that if you mess up, you can still get the first down, or coach ain't gonna get me on this one because he ran for a touchdown, right? So he helps them out too. That's for sure. He is a very good running back. He's right, like you said, he's one of the best I've seen.
Well, talk about your guys a little bit. I mean, what are the things you take away that you're going to focus on in practice this week?
I think, again, like we're going to talk a lot about and it kind of held true, right? A little bit of a slow start. It's hard, for us to match a game speed with our scout team, and for our team to, when you get up against those really good teams, it really makes a difference, right? Like we go out there, and it made a difference Friday night. Like it took us a good quarter to match the game speed and what we were seeing on the other side of the ball. So that preparation and fighting the urge to maybe even play at the speed that we're practicing at that moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And then the other part too, is just, again, ball security, trying to control what we can control. And, at game speed, you're going to make mistakes, at full speed, but the little things that we can control, like jumping off sides, right? Or turnovers, trying to secure the ball when we get into contact. Those type of things, we definitely have to clean up. Those mistakes will put you out here in a week or two, right? So we're going to concentrate on that. And like I said, put the we got 1 week, it's not really a polish up week, right? We got another banger, another tough team with Tippy Valley. It's not something where I can necessarily try new things or work on some things for the playoffs. So it's, we're going to have to be really good at what we do to win this week.
I was going to say, you got every bit as much of a challenge this week, and not even so much as with a player, but with a whole mentality of a program. Yes. I mean, Tippecanoe Valley, they for decades, they take that Death Valley thing seriously. And you got to go in there and play a team who, once again, is going to be extremely physical with you. You know they're going to bring that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They got multiple guys, more of a whole team approach with how they distribute the ball and their defense as well. Got to see a little bit of it last night when we got back. So I think their linebacker core is about as good as we've seen. And then their running backs, I know that the coach's son plays fullback, and he's a big dude back there and runs the ball hard. And then they have some skilled kids as well that can, just with their talent and the way that they run the ball is kind of a good compliment to him. And they're doing some diverse, some shotgun wing T type stuff. And so they're going to spread you out a little bit more. And I think they do a good job mixing up the power with the finesse.
Yeah. I had a chance to see them play earlier. I was impressed with their defense. But then every time I see Valley play, no matter what year it is, I'm impressed with their defense. That's one thing they hang their hat on.
Yeah. That was one of the things I had complimented them on before this, right? Watching the Knox game. I thought they did a good job, like you said, defensively. I said a couple times going into the previews about the layers, how they layered their defense, and were able to fill those holes with those linebackers. And even their secondary came up nice against Knox. So we're definitely going to have our hands full. There's talent all around the field on their team.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time, as always, and good luck to you this week, and we'll catch up this week.
All right, thank you.
Justin Begunia, the head coach at Bremen. Stay right there.
At Marshall County REMC, they are more than just your electric provider. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your connection to a brighter future. Since 1936, they have been powering homes, farms, and businesses with reliable service, innovative energy solutions, and a commitment to our community that never wavers. It's not just about keeping the lights on. It's about keeping our community strong. Marshall County REMC, powering progress, powering you. Learn more at marshallremc.com.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
And we're back, the Max 98.3 Coaches Show. Andy Barker joins us here from Triton, and that's a tough one last night, I'm sure. It isn't how you wanted it to turn out, no matter what.
No, not at all. We had a good game plan going into the week, and just struggled to execute it. And hats off Pioneer. Like I said earlier in the week, they're definitely the Northwood of our conference, and they're tough and great coaching staff, good guys, and they took it to us last night. We defensively just struggled to stop. Like we said, they only have 3 or 4 plays. They're just really good at executing them. And they ran their trap basically all the way down the field on that opening drive, and we just could not squeeze down and seal that gap off. And the other piece of it, because it was so defeating in that sense, the boys kind of never really got going. Emotionally, they weren't in it, which was weird. I was talking to staff, and pre-practice was good, warm-up was good, and we just went out there, and I don't know if they weren't ready for the speed or what it was, but they jumped on top of us, and we just could never get it going.
Well, and we talked earlier, and you compared them to the Northwood of your conference, but I think that's also the common denominator between those two programs. Number one, reloading, but reloading with guys that can run. Pioneer and Northwood both. That's the one thing they seem to somehow always find, guys that can run. I don't know how that's possible, but every year they reload with guys that might even be faster than the guys that were there before.
Yeah, they were really fast. Their running back was fast. Their quarterback was pretty pretty special, really. It's funny. I'm almost tired of these ISP connections. I got a I got a text from a really good friend of mine. In fact, one of the reasons I became a state trooper, he's now guarding the governor. So he couldn't be there last night because he's out in Vegas, but apparently the governor's going to Vegas.
Oh, well, there you go. We just gave away
yeah,
his moment.
Yeah, good for him. Wish I could take that trip right now.
Yeah.
No, so Jared texts me and he's like, "Hey man, good luck tonight. The quarterback's my nephew. Hopefully it's a good game, but I hope you lose." I'm like, "Well, thanks, buddy. Have a safe flight."
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So,
well,
but yeah, no, they were fast. They were strong, and they played very well.
That kid too, Rands, I think is his name, correct?
Yeah.
I was told earlier in the year he broke Jack Kaiser's rushing record there. And, few people probably know Jack Kaiser. You could be in worse company. The kid is special. And there haven't been too many people been able to stop him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, he doesn't have the size for the next level.
Right,
to be a Jack Kaiser. But, yeah, he's really good.
Talk about your guys, defensively, and we talked about this earlier with a couple other coaches that are playing that wing T offense, is the fact that, how demoralizing it can be psychologically simply because you make a great play and get a good stop and feel good about yourself, and they go 3 yards and they're celebrating too because they're perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, it's a tough, the wing T and then the flex bone triple, which is what we'll see this Friday, are just those old school 60s, 70s, 80s, 3 yards in a cloud of dust mentality. And, it's one of those things that as long as they can stay on their schedule, they are always really tough to beat.
Yeah.
You just have to get a couple of touchdowns on them and they start freaking out.
Yeah.
But getting there is the mission, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it can be demoralizing. And what's worse, when you play that type of offense, it's if you don't have one guy on the defense doing his job, that then the other guys start to compensate for that. And the problem with that is because of that offense, they have an answer to it. So, for instance, if you're worried about that trap and all of a sudden the linebackers start creeping in there to handle the trap, well, then they hit you on the outside. And so you really, truly have to have all 11 guys doing their job. And it's super cliche to say week in and week out. But like I was telling my son on the way in today, it's like, that's why football is such a great sport, because it emulates life so much.
Yeah.
And, this last night and even being in Plymouth all those years, doing all the youth stuff, I'm sure those kids over there are tired of hearing me say attitude and effort, but it ultimately came down for us was our attitude ultimately then reflected our effort. And after that first drive, we couldn't, not that our boys had necessarily a bad attitude, but they didn't have the emotion that they needed in order to get back in the fight. I'm proud of them for getting back up after every play, but sometimes just getting up isn't enough in this world and in this game. And it showed last night.
I think, that offense, that option, all that stuff, as methodical as it is and as plotting as it is, it seems to me the whole concept of that is to speed you up, even as a coach, because they're going to have the ball for 8 or 9 minutes every time they get it. And then when, if they get ahead of you, then even, I'm thinking it's got to be hard as a coach to stay in on your schedule, like you talked about, because, but you're thinking, man, I might not get the ball back again. I got to score. And it just speeds you up so fast that you start making mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, they drove that opening drive down there, and they were getting, 7 to 8 yards a clip on trap. And when we got the ball, we were moving it ourselves, and then we had a fumble and turned it over. And so then that sucks even more of the energy out of you, right?
Yeah,
so, for us,
I mean, the world knows by now that I'm an RPO guy, and the great part about the RPO is that you have to guard the entire field. Well,
Right.
if the pass option isn't working, well then we're in trouble a little bit, simply because they're gonna stack the box, and then it's up to number 3 to try to beat 9 dudes, and that's really hard. So
Yeah.
as special as he is, that's a hard ask. And
Yeah.
so, this week as we move into the last game of the year and then into our playoff season, we really need to hone in on the pass piece. And like I told Gage last night, and I told Drew on the way in this morning, I don't need you to be the most accurate 25-yard passer in the history of Indiana high school football. I just need you to be accurate within 10 yards.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the statistics, even the NFL, it's like 75% of the passes are inside the 10-yard mark. And so by hitting, and there were several times where we had slants that were wide open or an out that was wide open, and sometimes it was Gage not getting the ball there, and sometimes it was the other side. He'd hit him in the hands and they'd drop it. And so that then in turn adds even more to the energy suck. And so, the boys are struggling mentally and execution wise. And, it's almost sound like a broken record for us because it's purely that execution piece. And they were a good team, but they weren't a 42-0 team. That's for sure.
Talk about that part of it too. Excuse me. As well as I do, your concern going in there today is how are they reacting to it mentally? And, that's, in my mind, that's going to become your job this week is gauging that and keeping them from letting this, what should be a blip, just go away and keep moving forward, because you don't have a week off. You got a tough one again this week.
Yeah, that's the tough part about our conference. I mean, we're stacked up against really good people, especially on the back end of this thing. And so you're absolutely right. And, when I talked to the boys after the game, I just told them, look, I love you. This happens. I'm proud of you for getting back up. But we need to work on the heart piece of it. You could tell very quickly that we didn't have the heart, at least for that game. And I think the defensive coordinator said it very well. He just said that, we're better than we showed last night. And that's what it is. So, I pulled I have a leadership council. I think we've talked about it before on the show, but I pulled those guys aside right after we shook hands and said, hey, boys, you're my eyes and my ears inside the program, but this is also what you're here for. I mean, if there's no better time now than for you guys as leaders to step up and have a gauge. Like, we either march into this postseason like we should and go very deep, or we start thinking about basketball and thinking about wrestling and thinking about the Xbox. And I told the team, I'm like, don't let those thoughts start creeping in, guys. We are way too good to start thinking about the next thing.
You got another option team this week too. I mean, similar kind of things you saw last week. I mean, I don't want to ask you to give me your adjustments, but obviously you're going to make some adjustments to try to. Yeah, I don't want them to hear it. I mean, who knows? Maybe they tune the show in.
Maybe they're listening to you.
Yeah, maybe
that's right.
Maybe they're tuned in. But anyway, I mean, obviously you probably have some things in mind that maybe you want to try to do a little bit differently.
Yeah, after the first 15 minutes of no words on the bus, the coaches kind of circled up and started talking a little bit about the game and just very little about what we're going to see this week. But yeah, they're more traditional triple option, where you're getting that Navy style flex bone triple. And I mean, they're tough, they're disciplined, they're experienced, because they didn't lose hardly anybody off of last year's team. So we talked a little bit about maybe some personnel and where they could be best utilized for the triple. They're a run heavy team. If they pass 2% of the time, I'd be surprised. Yeah. So you got to stop the run. and we'll break down our sessions this week, similar to what we've done, with North Jetson and even with Pioneer, on just breaking down each guy's assignment, for each of these plays and just repping those. We call it half line, where, they don't have the whole offense up there running. They're just, triple to the right or triple to the left. And that's how we'll drill it. It's worked well for us. At least it did up until last night. So we'll maybe have to get back to the drawing board on it.
Well, man, good luck to you this week. You get to come back home. That's the good news. And we'll catch up later in the week.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you.
Andy Barker, the head coach at Triton. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Bigby coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop, where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Bigby Coffee, have the best day ever. Located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza, with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
We're back. Max 98.3's Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Ron Brown from Glenn joins us in this segment. And, man, just another tough night at the office last night for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Valley did a lot of really good things that made it a very difficult night for us, and the score reflected it.
Talk about, let's start with the things you saw that were positives. I mean, what are the things that you're going to tell your guys, look, we did okay here?
I mean, we came out, we tried to sustain some drives in that. We had some miscues. They came back and they again tried to go out and sustain drives and score. It comes down to, fundamentals, and it's a team game, and when we all don't do what we're supposed to do in that, it leaves our teammates in a bad position.
I imagine with their offense too, with the way they run that, once again, I'm talking earlier with a lot of the other coaches, they had the option teams they're playing, and assignment football is counterintuitive. I mean, guys you're supposed to look at your key instead of the football, and sometimes that's a tough discipline for you to impose on yourself.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's always difficult. But again, it comes down to if your opponent's doing a really good job of blocking, staying on their tracks, being a good pitch relationship, all those things, and you're not reading your keys, it puts you in a bad position, and it allows you to have some big plays. They hit us on a trick play, second play of the game, took advantage of assignment football on us, and but still, you get the ball right back and you have an opportunity to come down and score. We had a few miscues, and they played a good game last night. I mean, it comes down to the opponent. They played a very good game.
Offensively, were they doing anything on defense that was giving you fits?
I mean, they were pressuring us, a good amount. We had some guys that stepped up earlier or later in this week, actually, that weren't expecting to play but had to play because we had a few injuries that we didn't see coming. And so they took advantage of those kids. And, again, our kids continue to battle and try to adjust, but they made more plays, and that's exactly what they did. They tackled well. They made more plays. They got off blocks. Hats off to them. They're probably going to be a team that you're going to see vying for a regional title.
I'm thinking, you just mentioned something too that's become a recurring theme every time we talk is the injury thing. I mean, you've had guys go out for a certain amount of plays or whatever, and some for a whole game. I mean, that's got to start wearing on you here in week number 8 as well. The next man up is great, but sometimes, it tires you out.
Well, definitely. It's always hard to game plan for that. I mean, I think currently we're sitting at 17 kids that are out right now. And again, next man up, we're going to coach up the kids that we have that are available. You never want to see any kid get hurt, and it's unfortunate when it happens, but it's a part of the game. And we're going to continue to do the best that we can with the kids that we do have available. And, that comes down to, again, over and over again, winning the line of scrimmage, making good tackles, everyone flying to the ball, and not just watching a few people, make the plays. It's a team game.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to get there.
17. Wow, that's a lot of guys on the injured list. I didn't realize you had that many out. I mean, that becomes a problem, I would think, even in practicing, being able to get any kind of good reps or anything like that for people.
I mean, it does get problematic for sure, but, you can always go half line. There's always things that you can do.
Right.
So it's not an excuse. It's a reality. And you hate it for the kids because you want them to be able to participate in the sports that they like, and they put in a lot of work to have the opportunity to play. And their teammates are, counting on people to be there, to be in the spots that they've repped. And when you don't have that, you take a few steps back. But, again, you continue to coach these kids up, and you continue to try to put them in the best position possible.
I'm sure that today, the big thing on your mind is how they're going to respond mentally. I mean, it's 2 weeks in a row where things didn't go your way, obviously. I mean, what do you? I guess what I'm saying is, how are you going to address that for them mentally? Because it's going to be in your ballpark to keep them up and keep them going. There's still a lot of football left in this season if they want to do it.
I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. There is a lot of football left, and they're either gonna get a big boost on Sunday by whoever they draw, or they're gonna start to get ideas in their head that maybe aren't reality. And so, we're gonna focus on CMA, our next opponent, because that's what we can focus on and that's what we can handle. Valley's over with. They did what they did to us, and they did that because they put in a lot of hard work over the offseason, and they put a lot of hard work in during the season, and they're reaping their rewards of the hard work. They're getting the paychecks right now. And so it's not that our kids haven't worked hard. It's that your opponent wants it just as bad as you do, and you got to take it from them. And so when things aren't going well, it reveals who you are as a person. And so when you're dealing with young people, it's our job to try to coach them up and try to show them how they need to handle adversity so that when they actually have real issues later on in life, they can take something from sports, because we are, education-based athletics here in the state of Indiana. And if we're doing it right, that's what we should be focusing on.
Let's talk a little bit about Culver Academy. They're a team that's kind of in a similar position than you guys are. They've lost a couple of really key pieces to injury. Have had some moments where they're brilliant, other moments where maybe they're going to go back to the drawing board. But, I mean, what do you see when you look at them?
I mean, you see some opportunities, and some things that you can do well against them. But you know what you're going to get from Culver Academy. You're going to get a bunch of kids that are going to try very hard every single play. They're going to be very well coached. They're going to have a very good scheme that comes out and attacks your weaknesses. And so you have to be ready to make adjustments to that, and you have to be able to play to your strengths. And, that's what I expect to get from Culver Academy. It's going to be a very good game, and if you're not ready for it and you're not locked in, you're going to get similar results that you got in the last few weeks. But if you are locked in, you have the opportunity to battle all the way to the end and possibly get a victory.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time as always, and good luck to you this weekend. That is our game of the week here on Friday. Is John Glenn, Culver Academy, and I guess I'll be bothering you at some point this week, and good luck to you.
Right, thanks so much.
Ron Brown, the head football coach at John Glenn, and we'll be right back.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
And we're joined by our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week, Madison Mishler, with us from Lavelle High School. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Congratulations, by the way. It was a nice performance.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a team effort, though, not just me.
I agree with you, but I mean, three goals on senior night. Did you get any flack from the seniors for stealing their thunder for that?
No, they were happy for me. I got one of the seniors an assist, and she was more than happy that I was the one that scored.
Talk about your team a little bit. I mean, you've already twice mentioned them. It's about team. Talk about your teammates.
I mean, it's a very diverse team. Our team consists of a lot of underclassmen and 3 upperclassmen. We have at least 9 or 10 freshmen, so we're a pretty young team and we're still learning. But I'd say we're a very strong team overall.
Talk about the chemistry of that, too. I mean, you got to mix younger players with a lot of the bigger schools. Yeah. You might have just older players that have been together forever. Yeah. I mean, you probably haven't played with some of the older girls. How's that?
I mean, it's not easy at first, given that everyone's older and that age gap doesn't help. But since we've been doing summer workouts over the summer, that's given us a lot of time to bond with the older girls and given us the opportunity to forge those relationships and build the community for this future and upcoming Lancer soccer program.
It seems like soccer would be one of those sports, too, where you need a ton of trust in people being in the right spot and everything else.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, it's a very competitive and hard sport if you don't know what you're doing, and especially if you don't have a team that cooperates the way that you need it to, then there won't be any success in that.
Talk about your schedule a little bit, too, because I know you guys have a rough schedule. That's probably been tough all year.
It's been tough. I mean, we had a bit of a mental slump, that's for sure. I mean, we had a losing streak. It's quite the opposite, sorry. It was hard, and it's definitely been harder for us to get back on our feet and get mentally re-prepared for these upcoming games. But senior night for us, the game that I scored the 3 goals, that was a really good game for all of us. That was a really good confidence booster going into sectionals and preparing us mentally for tonight.
Let's talk about that, because you hit on my next question, is the mental aspect of it. I mean, it's a grind, and soccer is a tough physical sport. I mean, as the year goes on, mentally that's got to be tough.
It is, not just mentally but physically too. I mean, usually some of our better players are hit with those mid-season injuries, and sometimes you just have to be mentally and physically tough to get through the season, because it's a long season. 5 practices a week, and then games sometimes on the weekends, 2 games a week. It's hard, and you just have to be mentally and physically strong enough to go through it.
When did you start playing soccer?
I've been playing soccer since I was 4. I've been playing soccer for a long time, trust me.
What was it that drew you to the sport?
My parents signed me up. That's what really started. They signed me up, and I was doing a lot of rec programs, and if anything, I wanted to quit soccer, but really? I hated the running, which is kind of ironic, speaking that I'm a forward now. But outside of high school, I'm a goalkeeper, and I play for travel. I represent Indiana ODP, and I've been on the red state roster, which is the best for my age group. And my dad, he put me in goal, and I've been there since. So it's kind of just like lucky but unlucky, and it's confusing, but that's the lore.
Well, you got a friend in me. I cannot stand to run either. That's the one thing I've always thought about soccer players.
Yeah.
People don't understand the unbelievable condition you have to be in to play that sport.
Definitely, I agree. I mean, I've definitely fallen in love with running too, where I do track too, and that's also something I really feel like I excel in too, which it also depends with the running and stuff. You have to mentally be strong enough to do it. Like if you can push yourself as far as you want until it's the mental part where that's when it gets tough, and you have to be able to mentally push yourself through it. Whatever your mind says, you can do it. Like you have to push yourself, and you have to believe in yourself too.
I was going to say I can appreciate what that takes because, watching soccer players, it's not like a distance runner where you can pace yourself.
No.
I mean, you are on a dead sprint for 2 hours.
Yeah, sometimes it goes from like a dead sprint to a jog, or you're walking for a second, and then you're just going. And it's not just a slow paced game. It is a quick game. If you take a break for 5 seconds, you shut your eyes for 5 seconds, and it is a totally different game.
Talk about travel soccer. When did you start playing that?
I've been playing since I was 8.
Oh, okay.
So I've been playing travel for a while.
How do you like that?
I love it. I love the competition and the girls, and especially with the Indiana ODP, I get to play with some of the best players in the state, which is really awesome because that also gets me... It's the diversity of getting to play with all these other talents and getting exposed to that too, which betters me as a player too, mentally and physically.
Let's talk about you for a little bit. Your mom and dad's names. You got any brothers and sisters? You want to mention their names?
Yeah, I have a younger brother in 6th grade, I think. Okay. Sometimes we forget about him, but it's okay. We love him dearly, I promise. And then I have a sister that's here at this school. She's in 8th grade. So
no competition between any of you?
No, not
really.
Well, we all excel in different things.
Okay, yeah.
Like my sister, she has these amazing throw-ins, and she is this incredible center back. Yeah. And I truly have so much respect for her too, knowing that I couldn't do it.
Right.
And I feel like it'd be easier to be jealous of that, and that'd be a rocky relationship if I were jealous of that. Right. But seeing her being happy and excelling in something that she truly loves is truly incredible. And my brother, he's at that age where like they're starting to decide like what their sports are, and he does golf, he does basketball, he does soccer. So he's all over the place, and he's putting so much work for soccer, and it's truly incredible to see them excel in something that they absolutely love.
How about your mom and dad's names?
Kim and Andrew Mishler.
I'm sure they've been obviously that's the bus to travel soccer and stuff like that.
Yeah, my mom, she's never played soccer. She was a incredible softball player though. She played at Noblesville. She was amazing. She went very far, like nationals and stuff. Travel. She played for the Shockwaves. Cool. She was truly an incredible softball player. So it's kind of funny when like if I get scored on or like if I make a mistake in the field, she's like, so what happened? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, so like what, like why'd you miss the ball? And I'm like, because I was 2 feet away from it. And my dad, he's played soccer. He played soccer at Franklin College.
Oh, okay.
So he knows a lot about soccer, and he refs still, and he truly sees the game from an amazing viewpoint too, which also helps because if I don't understand something, I know I can go and ask him, and he'll be able to explain it in a way that I can comprehend it.
That helps a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It truly does.
Talk about you a little bit. I mean, what's your favorite school class in school? I think math we can rule out of the.
I think yes, we can rule out math definitely. I think a lot of us can. I'd probably have to say reading.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like to read?
I like to read a lot of big books. Like I'm really into the Hunger Games stuff.
Okay.
I like the dystopian and just like the fantasy novels.
What is, I mean, obviously you're a freshman. It's going to be a long time before you have
Yeah.
to make a decision. But,
Yeah.
Looking ahead, what would you like to do when you're out of school?
I have thought about it. It's such a hard decision knowing that like in 3 years so much could change, and it's hard knowing that too, is because I feel like people strive for the perfect answer to that question,
Right.
and there really isn't one.
Right.
I mean, I could see myself either being a pediatrician, going into something in the medical field, or being a sports psychologist is what I really think I want to do. I really want to be a sports psychologist.
Thought about college at all?
Yes, I have thought about college.
Have you decided where you want to go or what your dream situation would be?
I really want to go to the University of Notre Dame.
You couldn't pick much better than that.
No, I don't think I can. Notre Dame is all that it has to offer. And I've been doing a lot of soccer camps at Notre Dame, and I've been doing a lot at Notre Dame games. Like for 8U, we'd go and be ball girls for the girls' games, and I would talk to like their players, and they'd come up to us, and we'd introduce. And it's such a good like community too, is because their girls' soccer is incredible, and their coaching staff is incredible, especially being able to interact with their coaching staff at these like soccer camps in the summer. It is truly incredible being able to branch and reach out to these coaches.
It's a heck of a place.
Yes, it is.
Whatever you want to do.
It's a beautiful campus too, that's for sure.
Well, I want to thank you for talking to me. Appreciate that.
thank you.
And congratulations again, and good luck the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
And it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It's given in honor of a longtime Marshall County and Max 98.3 broadcaster who died before his time, long before his time, almost a year ago. And the legacy that he left of his work ethic, his devotion, especially to the athletes and the coaches in the area, it's never going to be matched. And we like to honor that every week with this award. And we'll tell you who the winner is this week, right after a word from Johnson Danielson Funeral Home.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And this week's winner of the Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week award is Sawyer Crace. He's a goalkeeper for the Argus Dragons. He'll be playing in the sectional final here in just a few hours, honestly. 2 o'clock start for that one. And so far this week, Argus has had 2 games. They played Lakeland Christian and Winnemac, and Sawyer was in goal for 2 shutouts. They have not given up a goal in the sectional so far, and he's had 10 shutouts on the season. So Sawyer Crace, the goalkeeper for the Argus Dragons, is our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week. He'll get a certificate with the history of the award, a T-shirt commemorating this achievement, and he'll be a guest on next week's Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Sawyer will be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award. We'll give that away later in the spring, and that brings a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. The Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home in Plymouth. Well, that's going to do it for another week of our Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Make sure you join us again next week. We'll do pretty much the same thing. Go around and talk to all the area coaches about their games on Friday night. And don't forget, football week starts early here on Max 98.3, 7 o'clock on Thursday night to be exact. And that is our Thursday Night Lights show. We get a scouting report from the coaches. You're right, I bug them twice a week. So We'll talk to them on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And then, obviously, our Max 98.3 Friday night game of the week is at Culver Academy. CMA against Glenn. Join Joe McKee and myself for all the play-by-play action there. We'll start about 6:30. 7 o'clock will be the kickoff. And then, well, we come full circle. Saturday morning, we'll be right back here again next week. I want to thank you for listening and have yourselves a great weekend.